Good evening and welcome to Primetime News, coming to live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Bernadine Singh.
I'm Chaturanga Hapuarachi. Dinuka Krishan from Harishchandra National College in Negombo topped the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination with 198 marks.
We will have a report on the examination in the news bulletin, but first it's the headlines.
Sri Lankan Board of Directors turned down proposal to give CEO a mammoth bonus. Grade 5 scholarship results released. Kampaha district secures top 3 positions. Calgary University closed indefinitely after student clash. Ruptured Hambantota water pipe repaired after Newsfirst expose.
Before we head into the stories in detail, as a media network, we continuously expose malpractice, fraud and corruption. We call on the general public to pay close attention and remember these revelations when the time comes to cast your valuable vote.
Sri Lankan Airlines, the national carrier of the country, is currently embroiled in a serious financial crisis. However, a proposal has been made to provide a performance bonus of 10 million rupees to its CEO, Suren Ratwatta.
Sri Lankan Airlines chairman Ajit Dai, speaking to Newsfirst, said Suren Ratwatta can be given a performance bonus only after he fulfills certain conditions in the service agreement he signed when appointed as CEO of the airlines. Recently, a document including this proposal had been brought before the Sri Lankan Board of Directors. The chairman of Sri Lankan Airlines said the board had not agreed to this proposal. CEO of Sri Lankan Airlines, Suren Ratwatta, is the brother of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's senior advisor, Charitha Ratwatta. Sri Lankan Airlines, which proposed a performance bonus of 10 million rupees to Suren Ratwatta, suffered a loss of 28.2 billion rupees during the financial year 2016-2017. The airline suffered a 12.6 billion rupee loss in the previous financial year. 4 top-level Sri Lankan Airlines executives, including the CEO, receive a monthly salary exceeding 3 million rupees. Using the Right to Information Act, the Airline Pilots Guild of Sri Lanka had been denied details of the salary and other perks of CEO Ratwatta. Sri Lankan Airlines already has to pay a mammoth fine for cancelling aircraft orders which was signed for during the former regime. When Sri Lankan Airlines was summoned to court on the 20th of September, it was clear to all of us the taxpayers have paid more than 16 billion rupees without even obtaining the 4 aircraft in question. If a correct decision was made, the sum could have been saved and that could have been used to bring down prices of coconuts, LP gas and other commodities. AirCap is to manufacture another 4 aircraft for Sri Lanka to be purchased in 2020. We questioned the airline if they have a requirement and they denied it. If there is no need for it, what should have been done is to cancel production. Sri Lankan Airlines operated during 2016 and 2017 using funds obtained from People's Bank and the Bank of Ceylon to the tune of $400 million, which was mediated by the Treasury. That's almost 60 billion rupees. Sri Lankan Airlines continues to make losses. Shouldn't the subject minister, the board of directors and especially its CEO be held responsible for the inefficient administration of the airline?
Yesterday we reported thousands of litres of purified water was going to waste because of local authority neglect. This is against a backdrop where around 24 districts are facing the worst drought in recent memory. Following our revelation, authorities have now taken steps to repair the ruptured water main.
Over the past several months, thousands of litres of purified water spewed out of this ruptured water main, taking water from Hambantota towards Meghajandura. Speaking to Newsfirst following the revelation, Secretary to the Ministry of Water Management, Sara Chandrasiri, stated that immediate steps will be taken to stop the wastage of water. Thereby, officials of the water board began to take steps to repair the ruptured pipeline today.
This is concealed inside the shrubbery area. We repaired this pipe 2 weeks ago. However, there was another rupture after the second and we controlled the flow of water through the valves. Following the renovations, there was another rupture 2 days ago. This happened because of the valve was open too much. We are investigating who is responsible for this and we will find out why it took so long to repair.
They said they can't give water due to the lack of pressure. This is the same water that kept gushing out of the pipe for the past 3 months. Please give us this water as well.
Several members of the village went to the water board on a number of occasions. Following the serious revelation, they came here to repair it. We need to ensure that they maintain a high standard of quality when conducting the repairs as well. Why can't the officials give us this water to drink?
Attorneys point out that responsible authorities could be punished for the wastage of national resources.
Sri Lankaවේ අභ්‍යාචනාධිකරණය ඉදිරියට ගොස්
You could go before the Court of Appeal and obtain a writ order. Through a writ of mandamus, the court can order the water board to manage its water properly. People can also go before the Supreme Court and obtain some respite regarding the violation of rights because access to water is a human right.
මිනිසාගේ මානව අයිතිවාසිකම්.
The campaign for a free and fair election, or CAFE, said it is the responsibility of governors and chief provincial secretaries to prevent the misuse of public property through provincial councils.
The Sabaragamuwa PC is yet to return the vehicles. The Chief Minister of the North Central Province, the Provincial Agriculture and Irrigation Ministries have taken away a large number of vehicles. It is reported that 17 vehicles used by the former Chief Ministers of the Eastern Province are yet to be returned. There is need to ensure the vehicles used by the Ministers and Chief Ministers of the North Central and Eastern Provinces are returned. We have discovered 4 vehicles that were taken from the Sabaragamuwa PC have met with accidents and are pending repairs. Public representatives from the North Central Province have been using state vehicles and property for political activities. This is not a positive sign, and we hope come tomorrow, authorities will act on recovering these vehicles.
Staying on the same subject, Governor of the North Central Province PB Disanayake said a majority of the Provincial Council vehicles were handed over to the Chief Secretary yesterday. He believes the remainder will be returned tomorrow. Chief Secretary of the Sabaragamuwa Province Herath Kularatne said the Chief Minister's vehicles will be recovered tomorrow and a team has been dispatched to recover all vehicles that have not been returned. Chief Secretary of the Eastern Province Sarath Abegunawardena said notices were issued to all councillors and ministers who have failed to return their vehicles and hope they would be returned by Monday.
All faculties of the University of Calgary except for the medical faculty have been closed indefinitely due to a clash among students.
Tensions boiled over at the University of Calgary when the Students' Union protested against an exhibition organized to mark the 50th anniversary of the science faculty. A series of altercations between students left 6 students injured. They were rushed into the Kiripatgora base hospital and some had already been discharged. Visitors attending the 4th day of the exhibitions were found with an uneasy situation due to these clashes.
The exhibition must go on for a few more days, but it is unlikely now. Students have been deprived of an opportunity to learn more. We are here with children, but it seems like a waste of time. We were denied entry since morning because of the clashes. This is done for students. Millions are spent on this exhibition. When we come here, there is nothing. Is this free education? Discussions between the university administration and the deans failed and clashes erupted. In order to prevent an escalation, we decided to indefinitely close all faculties except for medicine. There are obstructions caused to the exhibition. It has been cancelled and weekend academic activities have also been suspended. The university will not be open to students until further notice.
As the saying goes, a picture speaks louder than words. It's now time to take a look at cartoonist Asanga Laduahetti's interpretation of the news in the headlines tonight. Well, with that, we head into a short commercial break. Stay with us.
The results of the Grade 5 scholarship examination were released last night, and according to the results, a majority of the top scorers are not from the Colombo district. The students who clinched the top 3 spots in the island rankings were all students from the Gampaha district. One student from Kurunegala was also placed second in the island rankings. Of the 350,462 students who faced the Grade 5 scholarship examination, the first place went to W.K. Dinuga Krishan Kumara of the Harishchandra National School in Negombo, who scored 198 marks. Dinuga arrived at the Newsfirst Centre in Colombo today.
මට ගොඩාක් සතුටුයි. මං හිතාගෙන හිටියේ ලංකාවේ මුල්ම 10 දෙනා අතරට එක් වෙන්න කියලායි. දැන් ඒ සීනි ඉෂ්ට වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මට දැන් ගොඩාක් සතුටුයි.
Two students scored 197 marks to clinch the second spot in the island rankings. Indumini Jayaratna of the Valipillava Primary School and T.M. Sanjana Nayanjit of the Tulhiriya Primary School in Kegol. Dieturu Sahas Dharmaratna, student of the Kirilawala Primary School in Kadavata, came in third with a total of 196. 12 students were tied for the fourth place in the island rankings. The Department of the Examinations has announced that recorrection applications will be accepted till the 20th of this month.
Buddhist devotees mark Vap Full Moon Poya Day today.
Vap Full Moon Poya Day is a day of paramount importance to the Buddhists worldwide and particularly in Sri Lanka due to a number of special events taking place on this day, some of which take place annually. It was on Vap Full Moon Poya Day the Buddha visited the heavenly abode of Tavatissa, and on such a day that the future Buddha, Maitreya Bodhisattva, entered the order with a retinue of 500 followers. Special religious observances were held at the Shakya Malakya this morning opposite the MTV Embassy head office premises in line with Vap Full Moon Poya. Eslon Lanka Private Limited, a member of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, supported the event.
A religious event to present Katina Chivara was held today under the auspices of former Minister Milinda Moragoda. The Katina Chivara was brought by air from the Devannawaya in Battaramulla to the Pathfinder Foundation in Paliagoda. The Katina Chivara was then taken to the Paliagoda Gangarama temple in a procession.
Samata 7 housing loans under the Ministry of Housing and Construction were presented at the Kirinda Public Grounds today.
Loans valued at 27.4 million rupees were presented to 178 families by Minister Sajid Premadasa.
There are two groups of politicians. One group presents development programs and engages in politics with the praise of the masses. The other group attempts to achieve victory through political turmoil in the country. The people must have an understanding about these two groups. We must not set the country in turmoil. Everyone must be united. In 5 to 6 years, the people can decide to have this government or to elect the group that was previously defeated.
A meeting of the Cost of Living Committee took place yesterday. The prices of essential commodities was discussed.
Yesterday we had a meeting with all the supermarket owners. We made a request to provide necessary commodities at concessionary prices to the general public. I am glad that all the supermarket owners agreed to sell rice at a price of around 70 rupees from next week. They agreed to sell coconut through their outlets at the government selling price without any profit. They have also consented to selling other commodities at reduced costs. There are around 300 Satala outlets, around 500 supermarkets, so the retail shop owners will have to ensure that their prices are also competitive. The Cost of Living Committee made a special decision yesterday to strengthen the Consumer Affairs Authority Act. The minister expressed these views during an event to vest several renovated irrigation canals of the Muruthavela project in Hambantota in the public. I heard that Namal Baby had a meeting in Sevanagala and he had said that there is a need to organize a protest against the sale of the airport or the port. I told them to go because the airport was made for us to arrive like foreigners. The port was built for our amusement and for fishing trips. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party is against the sale of a single plot of land. But think about it. If we build a shop in town, but we have no idea of how to run it, we have to rent it out. We have no means of settling the debts, so we need to put these resources to use. We have not sold any lands. The people who sold the port city are shouting at us. They sold 10 acres opposite the golf face, which is critical to our national security. They sold it with the statue of SWRD Bandaranayaka. We were able to save it, else they would have melted it down for metal.
Before we head into a break, a reminder that you can view all these stories and more on our award-winning website www.Newsfirst.lk. See you on the other side. Welcome back. Reuters reported today that Sri Lanka has blocked a proposal by Chinese firms bidding to build the island's biggest oil refinery in order to sell fuel locally.
It was reported that China Huanqiu Contracting and Engineering Corp., a subsidiary of state-owned China National Petroleum Corp., and private refiner Shandong Dongming Petrochemical Group have jointly bid for the refinery located near the Hambantota port. Reuters quote the cabinet spokesperson Minister Rajatha Senaratne as saying that the Chinese companies had asked to sell refined products on the local market but had been told just to export. Quoting a Chinese source in Colombo, the Reuters report also notes Sri Lankan authorities have stated such a move could spark demonstrations by local trade unions.
UK Minister for Asia and the Pacific Mark Field is currently in Sri Lanka to discuss reconciliation, demining and the illegal wildlife trade. The visit to Colombo and Jaffna today and tomorrow is his first official visit to Sri Lanka since becoming Foreign Office Minister for Asia and the Pacific.
During the course of the day, Mark Field met with Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana as well as opposition leader R. Sambandhan. The Foreign Office Minister for Asia and the Pacific also met with families affected by enforced disappearances from both the north and the south of the country to hear of their concerns and their hopes for the Office of Missing Persons. Issuing a media release through the British High Commission, Mark Field said, and I quote, "I welcome the Sri Lankan government's commitment to reconciliation and strengthening democracy. I am looking forward to talking with the government and affected communities about the additional steps that are needed to deliver long-term peace and stability for all Sri Lankans." Unquote.
Today, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe left the country on a personal visit to Germany. According to a release issued by the Prime Minister's office, the Premier is due to travel to Berlin before travelling to Finland on an official visit.
The release issued by the Prime Minister's office notes that the visit of Finland is aimed at boosting trade and economic ties between the two countries. During his visit to Helsinki, the Prime Minister and his delegations is due to meet with the Finnish Prime Minister as well as the other ranking state officials. Minister Mahinda Samarisinghe and Akla Viraj Karyavasam will accompany the Prime Minister on his official visit.
We now reveal the completed illustrated version of tonight's headline news, courtesy of cartoonist Asanga Ladwahetty. In sports news, Sri Lanka Cricket has issued a 6-match ban against Sri Lankan opening batsman Danushka Gunatilaka. A release issued by the Sri Lanka Cricket notes that Gunatilaka will also be subject to a fine.
Danushka Gunatilaka has been charged with violating rules of Sri Lanka cricket during the recently concluded series against India. A release issued by Sri Lanka Cricket notes that Gunatilaka has pleaded guilty to the charges. Thereby, Gunatilaka will not be able to take part in Sri Lanka's next 6 international outings. 20% of his annual contract fee will also be reduced as a result of this decision. The Sri Lanka Cricket release also notes that the ban came into effect from the 30th of September.